Hello, it's Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards. Today is Paper Pumpkin, and we're going to look at November 2020, the Jolly Gingerbread. So I'm going to show you what is inside, then I will make a gift card holder, and then I will show you some alternatives. So let's start stamping. So remember, in every kit, you receive ink that you can reuse, and this month it is Blushing Bride. You also will receive a stamp set that you can reuse. And this month we have Sentiments and Joy with Love, Wishing You a Jolly Christmas, To and From, Happy Holidays, More Merry, A Sweet Treat for You, and then we have some decorations and a gingerbread house. And then those will go on the gingerbread house. And in our kit, we have printed envelopes, the gingerbread gift card holders, and we have printed die-cut houses and labels, candy stickers, dimensionals, adhesive dots, and adhesive tape roll. So let's follow the directions and we'll make one treat card holder, and then I'll show you some alternatives. Guess I forgot to show you these labels too. Before I start, remember there is a set of directions in your kit. There's also a video that you can use to help you. And on the back, it shows you what's included in your kit and how you can extend and do make cards. And then, of course, you have the directions inside. And even a ruler at the bottom of the brochure. Okay, to start with, go ahead and put this image on your block. And you have 3 different designs for the gingerbread houses. And you'll need a blank cutout, die-cut house, and then one that's decorated. And go ahead and you can punch the star out. Might want to keep that and use it for something else. And you can punch this out. So I'm just going to make one of these. So I'm going to move these 2 off to the side. And I am going to use a small ink spot rather, a Blushing Bride. Should have tore that off there. There we go. And because it's so small, then I just find it's easier for me to do it this way. But I hang on to my block. But you can do what works for you. And then I'm going to take this right over the little doorway. And I will press and straight up. Then I will ink that up again. And I will do that on this little house towards the bottom, because we're going to be putting another decoration up here. And I'm going to clean my block, and I'm going to be adding this image here to my block. I switched to a C block, a smaller block, for this image. Go ahead and ink this up. Notice there's a little indentation. So I am going to stamp that like this around the star. And then I'm going to do the same over here. And then I'll stamp this. And the little trick, I'm going to add the sentiment, wishing you a jolly Christmas on our tag. But I wanted to get this on straight, so I'm going to lay it on my grid paper. Wants to stick to my fingers. Okay. And then I will just straight down, and I'll pick that up. Let me add ink. I will bring in our little tag. Wishing you a jolly Christmas. I'm going to get another one. I don't think that one stamped very well, so we'll try it again. Okay, wishing you a jolly Christmas. And I'm going to turn that over, and I'm going to add dimensionals. Okay, looking at the directions, the one I'm going to do, instead of the one with the star, I went ahead, I'm going to do the one with the heart, because they have this label, and I want to follow the directions, and so I switched up my lighter green to this gingerbread. So I'm using this one with the darker, and that's the one they have with the heart. So I went ahead and stamped the same way, and my label, my house here, and then I've popped up the sentiment, wishing you a Merry Christmas, with dimensionals, and then I'm going to add that right under the heart on the little decorated. Now I've added the to and the from, and I will ink this up. Since it's a smaller image, a smaller stamp, I can stamp it that way. And I will put that right on this card that doesn't have the label on it. Okay, and I'm going to turn these over, and I'm going to add glue dots. So I added 4 glue dots on the back of each of these, and you do have glue dots that come with, you just take that top off and slide it off and put it on these. I went ahead, it's easier for me to use a roll of glue dots. So, of course, you're going to want to make sure you have the opening that goes over this. So this is what goes over on this side. And press that down. And then the gingerbread house that says to and from is going to go in here. And you'll see there's a little edging there that you can put right inside. Okay. So now we'll bring in that strip of adhesive. And, maybe 3 inches. Just kind of guessed at that. And we'll place that right here. And we'll take that top off. Peel that off. And then we're going to fold our card. And we will fold this. There's a fold line. So fold this, and then bring this down. And then you have the to and the from, wishing you a jolly Christmas. And you have an opening where you can put a gift card. How cute is that? And so they're all made the same way. If you want to make them all into gift cards, you can. Stick with me and I'll show you some alternatives and how we can turn some of these into regular cards. So for my first alternative card, I'm using Cinnamon Cider ink pad. I'm going to be using the sentiment, Christmas Wishes from All of Us, from Banner Year. And from the stitch rectangles, I'm going to be die cutting 2 Using 2 of those. I'm going to be using Winter Snow embossing folder, and then the DSP Cinnamon Cider, which is from the annual catalog in color designer series paper. And I'm going to be using this gingerbread cutout for my card. So let's put it together. I've taken a piece of cinnamon cider cardstock, and I trimmed it to 8.5 by 5.5 and scored it at 4 1/4. And I've already folded it. And then I cut the DSP 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the top of my card. And I find it easier if I open the card up, and I usually like to kind of hold at the top, and this is going to be kind of a tight fit because I cut it didn't leave a lot of room. I just want a little bit of the cinnamon cider cardstock to show out around the DSP. And then I'm going to bring in Whisper White cardstock, cut at 5 by 4 7/8. And then I went ahead and already ran it through the Winter Snow embossing folder. So now I'm going to add this on top of my layer. And then the larger rectangle, I went ahead and used one of our die cuts, and I stamped out the cinnamon cider from this, which gave me this right here. And then I'm going to stamp and cut out using this rectangle, which I've already done. And again, I use Christmas Wishes from All of Us from Banner Year stamp set. And then I'm going to bring in this house, and then what I did, I stamped the house that comes with the paper pumpkin kit. I stamped it right on here, and now I'm going to go ahead and cut this in. I'm going to cut this part off, and I use the trimmer to cut that off so it would be straight. Now I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to add dimensionals. I'm going to add one in each corner. And 2 in the middle. Stick with me because I have a couple more to show you. Okay, I'm going to set the house kind of in the middle. I want to leave room at the bottom to add my sentiment. Okay, and now I'm going to add Christmas Wishes from All of Us. And I learned this tip from Sharon Armstrong, who picked it up from someone that she knows. But if you're having trouble, Stampin' Seal and I do not play well together. So if you're having that same problem, so a little trick is to start it on your silicone sheet, and then it's easier for you to go ahead. Whoop. Like I said, we don't play well together, but I'm trying to figure out so I can use it, because I want to use it. It's a good adhesive. Now I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to add dimensionals. So I've added dimensionals, taken the tops off. I'm going to turn that over. I'm going to pop this up. And I am going to cover up the brick. You could bring it down so you see part of the brick. So, or you can go ahead and bring it up like this, which is what I'm going to do. But either way would be fine. And then let's add some embellishments. I think it needs something. So actually, I took this off because we need to add another row of dimensionals because it wasn't even, because I put the sentiment on the house that was already popped up, which was fine, but I needed another row on the bottom here, so it will be even when I put it on. So let me show you. Okay, now we'll do this again, because I'm putting, this is already popped up. And I didn't have that row right down here of dimensionals. I only had it up here. So now it is even. And you could even put a double row here to pop it up, because here it is kind of, it's popped up under here and under here. But this looks fine. So now we're going to add the embellishments. So several choices. You could use some of the candy that comes with the kit. We could use some Cinnamon Cider from the In Color Dots, or the adhesive back snowflakes. And I'm going to use the snowflakes because I used the embossing folder with snowflakes on it. So I'm going to use some snowflakes to pop up on our card. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to put them here so like the snowflakes are falling on the house. Put another one right here. And one more. And I'll put that up here. And here we have our first alternative card. Let me show you another one. In my next alternative card for the Jolly Paper Pumpkin Kit, Jolly Gingerbread, I'm going to use Shaded Spruce, Whisper White. I'm going to use this piece from the kit. I'm going to go ahead and punch out the heart. Although I'm going to save this because I am going to use this. And this piece here, the die cut for our card. And I'm using this Shaded Spruce. This is from the mini catalog on page 31. And it comes the Wonder of the Season Ribbon Combo Pack. So you have the Shaded Spruce. And then you also get the gold cord. But I'm going to use the Shaded Spruce. And I'm using this design from our Paper Pumpkin kit. And also from the kit, the sentiment Wishing You a Jolly Christmas. Although I'm going to use a sticky. So what I did, I took a sticky note. So I stamped first, and then I took a sticky note, and actually I covered up Wishing You a, and you'll see in a second that I stamped Jolly first, and then I stamped Christmas. So I went ahead and covered up Christmas like this, and stamped Jolly. And then I inked up my stamp and used sticky notes and just left Christmas and stamped Christmas. So let me show you how that looks. So here's the card that I made. And I used Whisper White for the card base, Shaded Spruce for a layer, another layer of Whisper White, but I used Shaded Spruce ink, and I stamped this all over the Whisper White layer. And then I used this little piece and put Jolly Christmas. And you can see that I made a mistake. A little bit of ink from another word. It didn't quite get covered up. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix that in just a second. And then I popped up the die-cut gingerbread house and just glued the Jolly Christmas sentiment with the right onto the card. I took the die-cut gingerbread and a little dauber, and I used shaded spruce, and then I just went ahead and touched off to the side, or you can do that on your grid paper. And then I just went around, and I'll just do this. I went all the way around. Just to add a little shaded green, or shaded spruce rather. Well, the shaded spruce is green, that is true. And then I just did one more around to get the look that's on the card. And then I used the shaded spruce for a bow. But we do need to cover that up, and I want to use as much product from the Paper Pumpkin kit. So I am going to bring in the candy that we have, and I'm going to use, since our shaded spruce, and I'm going to put this right here because there's a whole layer of candy around the doorway, and so you'll just see part of the candy, and it kind of adds to it, and it covers up my mistake. So let's look at the next alternative card. So for my next alternative card, I'm using Mit Macaron ink. I'm using Mit Macaron cardstock, Whisper White. I'm going to be using one gem from the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels. I will be using a couple of the candies, decorations, and I'll be using Happy Holidays from the Paper Pumpkin stamp set this month, and also the Gingerbread House stamp. And then I'll be using some of this metallic ribbon. And this metallic ribbon, it is also in the mini catalog on page 45. And it comes with the basket weave and metallic ribbon combo pack. So you receive the Mint Macaron basket weave ribbon and then the metallic. So let me show you the card and how I put it together. Here is the card that I made. So I cut the Whisper White 8.5 by 5.5, scored it at 4 1/4. And then I have a layer of Mint Macaron cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And I used Mint Macaron ink, and I stamped the house as on the background. And then I added the ribbon to the Mint Macaron cardstock before I added it to the card base. And then I'll have the dimensions for the card down below in the description. But as you see, I have a square Mint Macaron and then Whisper White. And then I stamped this on Whisper White, the Gingerbread House, and I did use blends, which I forgot to show you what colors that I used. You could use any colors, but what I used the light Daffodil Delight to show like lights in the house. And then for the roof, I used light Crumb Cake, and I also used the light Cajun Craze for the roof, and also some trim. And then I colored the main part of the house with the light Mint Macaron. And then I also used some of the dark around the outside of the windows and the sides of the door. And the chimney, I used the dark Crumb Cake. So, and then I just fussy cut, just cut it out by hand. And I stamped Happy Holidays, and then I did add 2 of the candy, and then I put 1 of the from the holiday season rhinestones, because I thought it kind of tied in with our metallic ribbon that I used. So this is our little gift card, and you could add some candy decorations on here too. And this is the directions as given in the paper pumpkin kit. And then here are the 3 cards, the 3 alternative cards that I made using the materials from the Jolly Gingerbread November paper pumpkin kit. Let me know if you like any of these. Maybe they inspired you to make a card. And if you're new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. Just click the subscribe button down below. And thanks to all of you for watching, and have a great day.